So people say this channel can get a little dark and depressing at times. I'm a climate doomer, I'm an AI doomer, I'm a pessimist, neuroticell going despair mode, and I sympathize with these critiques, okay? I do think that a lot of pessimism is just taking that internal neuroticism and making it a part of your worldview in some way. Only focusing on the downward trends, only focusing on the negative news stories. So today I thought I'd switch things up and I'd focus on a positive report from ProPublica that is all about this. It details positive trends that are happening in our world right now. The study is a broad meta-analysis covering over 40 different emerging topics. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to focus on the AI safety regulations, media literacy, climate change, and war. Okay, so we're on our anti-clanker arc, so let's start by talking about some positive developments in AI safety. There is an international union in the process of forming among various nations. Some of the nations that have signed on already include Canada, Denmark, Australia, and Cape Verde. Over 36 different countries have signed on to this to create an international union to regulate artificial intelligence and make sure it doesn't kill all of us or act in a way which is detrimental to humanity's best interest. All countries that have opted in are going to send both political ambassadors and AI experts to have bi-weekly meetings on AI safety. So this is very important. They're creating the infrastructure to make a stopgap or a kill switch for some sort of artificial intelligence. If it were to go rogue, we would be able to turn it off. But the really good news here is that the United States and China have also opted into this agreement, in a slightly less overt manner. They have sent representatives to be at these talks and to negotiate with each other, which is huge. America and China are at the forefront of the AI arms race. Now, obviously, you might think that they're sending these ambassadors somewhat cynically, and they don't actually intend to slow down their AI race. But the fact that all these other countries are involved is a very good sign. And the fact that America and China are even sending ambassadors to this conference in the first place is a sign that they both realize that this is a very real problem that something needs to be done about. Okay, moving on to wars. So wars have actually been declining within the last 5 years, and I know it doesn't seem like this, but that's because there's more media attention on wars now. So the data actually shows less conflict, less deaths in the conflicts that do happen, less bombs dropped. Generally, good trends. And obviously, because of the internet, when a war does happen, then we see it at the front lines, which is probably better journalistic practice. We can see with our own eyes what's happening. All right, in regards to climate change, again, it's not great. It's not like we reversed climate change or something, but there is some good news. The warming that we predicted was going to be happening is happening slower than climate experts thought it would. This graph predicts a bunch of different scenarios based off of how bad it's going to be. And the medium case scenario seems to be where we're at. It's not at the really bad case scenario. Obviously, the world is still getting hotter and it's still a problem and it's still going to cause a lot of problems, but it seems like we have a little bit more time to figure out what we're doing about this before the impacts on our societies become very, very bad. And lastly, media literacy. This is another topic everybody thinks they know, but the data doesn't support. We obviously all believe that TikTok is frying our brains and making our kids into zombies, but the data actually shows younger generations have higher literacy rates than older ones, and studies show Gen Alpha has more ability to parse forms of media like artificial intelligence and complex lingo than older generations do. The most interesting part of the media literacy part of the ProPublica study says, unlike older generations, including millennials, Gen Z is actually more likely to cross-reference studies from various sources. So it actually seems that concerns about literacy and media literacy are probably overblown in the... Wait a second. Oh, I was holding the report upside down! Can you believe it? Oh, the opposite of everything that I just said is true. Oops! Wars and conflicts have skyrocketed over the last 5 years, mostly due to the climate change stuff that nobody's doing anything about, and that it was probably too late to do anything about 10 years ago. And also, the latest climate report says that things were worse than the worst possible case imaginable. Obviously, no one is doing shit about AI. Neither China nor America is making any effort whatsoever to slow down. And they're not going to, because pausing is impossible. And yeah, obviously your media literacy is bad, because this entire video just sort of washed over you because you were half paying attention to it. Anyway, yeah, my bad, guys. The study was upside down. Oops! And now an ad for Incogni. Someone managed to find my credit score and all of the information about my credit score, and then messaged me with a very believable email with my exact amount of money that they needed from me, which I didn't pay or something. And that was the proper debt. And they used that to scam me out of like 150 bucks. These scams are getting better and better due to artificial intelligence. And your data is everywhere, all over the internet. But luckily, thank freaking Jeebus, there's Incogni. Elite hacker, scammer, 4chaners are stealing your data as we speak. They could take your birth certificate. They could take your social security number. You know what they say? They say data, if World War III is fought with sticks and stones, then World War IV will be fought with data. I mixed up two quotes. Oops! They're gonna target your profiles. They're gonna target your social medias. They're gonna target your names and addresses. Are you scared? Are you scared enough to give this sponsor money now? What are you gonna do? You're gonna individually message every single one of these sites to get them to take it down? That sounds like too much logistical work, okay? That sounds like a headache. That's what Incogni's for. They're gonna do it for you automatically. You just give them all your data. Now kick back, relax, and watch as Incogni puts in the work to keep you safe. They'll keep you updated on any progress. Protect your privacy on the internet and save 60% if you use my link. My link.